A warning to women who practice witchcraft. This is a true story written by a woman herself. She tells how she used black magic on her co-wife, and how Allah punished her, her helpers, and even her own children. She begins, I was a school principal. Allah had blessed me with wealth, beauty, influence, and children. My husband was respected in society. Then one day, my husband married another woman. From that moment, my life felt empty. People praised her piety. My husband admired her faith and said, she is close to Allah. Every time I spoke badly about her, he warned me, do not wrong her. She is among the righteous. These words burned my heart with jealousy. I feared she might become a mother. One day, I told my colleague about my feelings. She advised, make her infertile, do magic so she gets divorced. At first, I refused. I was afraid. She said, if she's divorced, just give charity for her sake. Repent to Allah and all will be fine. The devil took over my heart, and I agreed. We went to a well-known sorceress in the area. I told her, I don't want my co-wife to have children, and I want her divorced. In fact, I don't ever want her to become a mother. Not with my husband, not with anyone. The sorceress said she needed something personal of hers. So, I made a plan with my eldest daughter to invite her father and stepmother to our house for a meal. My daughter managed to steal her scarf. I handed it to the sorceress. She said she will never be a mother again. She gave me powders to sprinkle where my co-wife would walk and to mix into her food. I invited her warmly, saying, we're like sisters. Have dinner with me tonight. I sprinkled the powder at the entrance where she would step in. I mixed the other into her coffee. When she drank it, I felt victorious, as if I had conquered the world. But in truth, I had destroyed my faith, my life, and my hereafter. A few days later, she began severe bleeding. It lasted for weeks. Her health declined. My husband told me she cried in prayer, cried in the bathroom, and sometimes fainted at night. Doctors found tumor-like growths in her womb and advised removing it. She refused. She had seen a dream, a black dog tearing her womb apart. A dream interpreter told her, you've been bewitched. Rub olive oil on your belly and recite Quran over yourself. When my husband told me, I ran to the sorceress. She warned me, if she uses olive oil, the knots will break and she may conceive. Add magic to her food again. The very woman interpreting her dreams was the same one casting spells on her. She told me to call my co-wife at a certain time, so she'd miss her evening Quran supplications. Then she could tighten the knots of the curse. That day, while she was casting the spell, her voice suddenly choked and she couldn't speak, but the magic was completed. I poisoned her food again with black magic. Her health worsened. My husband finally agreed to surgery, and her womb was removed. But instead of feeling satisfied, I became angry that he still felt sorry for her. I wanted her gone completely. So my colleague suggested we accuse her of doing magic on him. We planted a spell at the base of a tree outside our house. I told my husband, the dream interpreter says you've been bewitched by her. When he dug at the spot, he found the buried charm. He was shocked. I was thrilled. He called her brother and said, your sister is a sorceress. She's forbidden to me. I divorced her 3 times. He even sent photos of the charms. I thought I had won, but that was the beginning of my destruction. 5 years have passed since he divorced her. My own daughter, married only a year, was divorced and became barren due to a strange illness. She now needs psychiatric treatment. My colleague's only son died in an accident. She lost her mind and is now in a mental hospital. My husband began having dreams of his late father, angry with him. He recited the verse, "O you who believe, if a sinner comes to you with news, verify it, lest you harm people in ignorance and become regretful for what you have done." Quran 49:6. It didn't end there. I lost my job. A conspiracy ruined my career. My reputation was destroyed. My favorite son became addicted to drugs. He's now in rehab. As for me, I was diagnosed with brain cancer that spread to my spine. I'm in the final stages, surviving only on painkillers. My husband remarried again and forgot me completely. I asked my sisters to bring my co-wife to me. When she came, I confessed everything. I begged her forgiveness. I was ready to kiss her feet. She wept and said, "You deprived me of motherhood, wronged me in my faith, threw me out of my home with lies. Today, I have no husband, no children, because of you. May Allah forbid His mercy upon you. May Allah forbid His mercy upon you. May Allah forbid His mercy upon you." Those words made me wish for death 100 times over. This story is a lesson for every heart filled with jealousy, witchcraft, or injustice. The end is always destruction. May Allah protect us, forgive us, and keep us firm on His path. Ameen. Magic is one of those things people rarely speak of openly, yet it has poisoned more hearts, destroyed more homes, and shattered more trust than many realize. It creeps in quietly, like smoke under a door, filling every corner of a person's life until the air becomes too toxic to breathe. People think of it as something old women in villages do with a candle and a piece of cloth, or as a harmless superstition of another time. But in the sight of Allah, magic is not a petty custom. It is a declaration of war against His mercy. It is a rope handed directly to Shane, who will pull you closer and closer to hell, all while whispering that you are simply protecting yourself or getting what you deserve. It begins most often with pain. A woman feels her husband drifting away, so she seeks a way to pull him back. A man feels humiliated by his business rival, so he wants to see him fail. A jealous relative cannot bear the sight of another's happiness, so they whisper to someone who knows a way. The idea doesn't start with magic. It starts with hurt, with envy, with an unwillingness to leave things to Allah. But once the heart takes that first step, Shane rushes to offer a solution. There was a woman I once knew who swore she would never go near anything haram. She wore the veil, prayed on time, even gave charity. But when her only son married a woman she disliked, her chest burned with jealousy every time she saw them smile together. At first she complained to relatives. Then she began to spread little lies about the daughter-in-law. But gossip wasn't enough. One evening, a neighbor mentioned an old lady who could help make the girl more obedient. The woman laughed at first, said she wasn't that kind of person. But that night, lying in bed, she imagined her son without his wife, living only for her again. Within a week, she was standing at the old woman's door. Within a month, the daughter-in-law was in the hospital with a sudden illness doctors could not explain. And within a year, the woman's beloved son was killed in a car accident on the very road he drove every day. She now lives alone, sitting in the same house, waiting for death. She told me herself, "I want to take her away from my son's heart, but Allah took my son away from my heart." That is the nature of magic. It promises you victory, but delivers only loss. You may think you are targeting one person, but in truth, you are firing an arrow into your own future. Magic is not simply negative energy or psychological influence, as some modern people try to paint it. It is real, it is physical and spiritual effects, and the Quran confirms this. People under magic can lose their health, their relationships, their faith. Sometimes they hear voices. Sometimes they see nightmares so vivid they cannot sleep. Sometimes their own family begins to despise them without reason. Sometimes their own body turns against them, organs failing, wounds not healing. And the most terrifying part is not the sickness in the body, but the sickness in the soul. A brother once told me about his cousin, who was a gifted Quran reciter. He had a beautiful voice that brought tears to people's eyes. Then, suddenly, he stopped coming to the masjid. His family found him sitting alone for hours, speaking to someone invisible. At night, he screamed in his sleep. They tried doctors, nothing changed. Then they brought a scholar, who read Quran over him. The young man began to cry and confessed that a former friend had visited a magician out of jealousy for his talent. The spell was meant to make him lose his voice. In the end, he not only lost his voice, but lost his mind. The cousin said, "It was like watching a candle burn from both ends, faster and faster, until there was nothing left." This is why the Prophet counted magic among the 7 destructive sins, right after shirk. Because magic is not just about harming others. It is about handing your will over to Shane. The magician does not work for free, whether you pay him in money or in acts of disbelief. The price is always heavier than you imagine. Some magicians write Quranic verses with filth. Some sacrifice animals in the name of jinn. Some perform unspeakable acts in graveyards. Every spell is a bargain. Your loyalty in exchange for the jinn service. And every bargain comes with a chain around your own neck. But magic is not content to stay between the one who casts it and the one who suffers it. It spreads. It rots communities from within. Families become suspicious of one another. A husband and wife who once loved each other begin to argue over nothing. Siblings stop speaking for years. Neighbors avoid each other, convinced that someone is working against them. Even when there is no magic, the fear of it becomes a poison. And when there is magic, it is like pouring acid on a wound. The pain grows deeper and trust dies completely. In one village I visited, there was a long-standing feud between two families. At first, it was over land. Then one side accused the other of using magic to make their crops fail. From there, it spiraled. Marriages were broken, friendships ended. People refused to pray in the same mosque. Children grew up hearing their parents curse the other family. When an elder from the village tried to reconcile them, he said something I will never forget. The land was small, but the hatred grew large. Now we have nothing but graves to inherit. The danger is not only in what magic can do, but in what it can make you believe. Sometimes people fall into suspicion without proof. They start blaming every misfortune, every sickness, every failure on someone else's magic. Shane loved this because it replaces tawakkul, trust in Allah, with paranoia. The Quran commands us to verify news before acting on it. Yet how often do we hear someone say, "I know who did this to me," without a shred of evidence? Many innocent people have been accused, shamed, or even divorced because someone felt they were behind their problems. There is only one safe path: complete reliance on Allah, constant remembrance of Him, and strict avoidance of anyone who claims to control unseen forces. The Prophet gave us powerful protections, Ayat al-Kursi, the last two verses of Surah al-Baqarah, the morning and evening adkar, Surah al-Falaq, and Surah al-Nas. These are shields that no magician can penetrate if recited with sincerity. But too often, we leave these shields hanging unused, then wonder why the arrows reach us. I once met a man who used to visit fortune tellers just for fun. He said they would read his palm, tell him things about his past, and hint at his future. He laughed it off until one day, a fortune teller told him he would lose his wife to another man. From that moment, his trust in her began to crumble. He started to watch her every move, question her phone calls, accuse her of things she hadn't done. Within a year, their marriage collapsed, not because of another man, but because he let shame plant suspicion in his heart. He admitted, "I destroyed my own home with my own hands." The end of those who practice magic, and those who seek it, is never good. Sometimes the punishment comes quickly, sometimes it takes years, but it comes. The Quran says they will have no share in the hereafter. Imagine standing on the day of judgment, desperate for a single good deed, only be told your record is empty because you traded it for a moment of revenge in this world. And sometimes Allah shows His justice even before that day. How many stories have we heard of magicians dying in agony, of their own children turning against them, of their wealth disappearing overnight? One old man who used to boast his ability to tie hearts and untie them ended his life paralyzed in the bed, unable to speak or eat, his own family refusing to visit. A neighbor who had once begged him to harm a rival told me it was as if the jinn took back everything they ever gave him, and then some. There's a deep, frightening truth in all of this. When you harm someone unjustly, you open the door for Allah's justice to fall upon you, and His justice is perfect. You may escape human courts, you may hide your tracks in the world, but you cannot hide from the one who knows what is in the heart. So if you're tempted by pain, by jealousy, by desperation, to seek magic, stop and remember, you are not only writing someone else's misery, you are signing your own sentence. And if you've already gone down that road, repent now before it is too late. Cut every tie with magicians, destroy every charm, purify your home with Quran, and fill your tongue with the remembrance of Allah. The road back may be long, but it is still open until the moment your soul is taken. And if you are a victim, do not answer evil with evil. Do not let someone else's sin drag you into your own. Take refuge in Allah. Be patient. Seek rookie from those who fear him. And remember that every hardship faced with faith becomes a source of reward. The one who wronged you has already sealed their loss. Do not add to yours. The world is full of stories, but they all end the same way. The one who tried to destroy another's life with magic finds their own life in ruins. The one who placed their trust in Shane finds Shane laughing at them on the day of judgment, saying, I had no authority over you except that I called you, and you responded to me. And the one who held fast to Allah finds that no harm could touch them except by his permission, and that every wound they endure became a light in their scale. Magic promises quick results, but delivers eternal loss. It whispers a control, but leaves you chained. It begins with a single step away from Allah, and ends with 1,000 miles between you and his mercy. So the choice is yours, to be patient and trust the one who controls all hearts, or to hand your soul to the one who wants nothing but your destruction. Choose wisely, for the end of the road is closer than you think.